From snowy England. This week I'm going to talk to you about the different types of football around the world. See you in the classroom. Hello, in this video I am going to explain why some people say soccer and why some people say football. So I am going to look at the etymology of these words and also the different types of football in different countries around the world. So the word football is not because you play it with your foot. It's because you play it on foot. You play it standing up. And this is different to sports that was played by nobles and royals because they played sports on horses, like hunting or polo. So the name football is for sports that were played on foot, not with feet. So there are many different types of football around the world. Rugby in the UK, well, there are two types of rugby. Rugby union and rugby league. They are slightly different and they were called rugby football. And because they were called football clubs, some rugby teams in the UK have the initials FC after it, which means football club. So for example, Harlequins FC. This means that the football clubs, the soccer, the football that we like, is AFC. So for example, Bournemouth AFC or AFC Bournemouth, I think. Association Football Club. So this is to differentiate between rugby and football. So the name soccer came from the word association football. So it wasn't a slang, an abbreviation of this word, and this resulted in soccer. And this is because of the Oxford ER. So in the late 1800s, late 19th century, there was slang that was used around Oxford University, adding ER to words. So for example, rugby was called rugger, and it is still called this now, slang. Football was called footer, but this is not used anymore. And also it was called soccer. So it's spelt like this with a CK, and this comes from the association, this sock part here. So it was called soccer around that time in the late 1800s. Also it was called togger. I don't know why it's called togger, but also now sometimes my friends use the word togger to describe football. So in different countries around the world, to differentiate between the different types of football, they use the word soccer. Countries like Australia, New Zealand, Japan, South Africa, America, Canada, they use the word soccer because in those countries they already have a football and it's a different type of sport. So in America, they have American football. We say American football. In America, they say football. And this was developed from rugby football. And the British went to America, they developed the game in America, they dropped the rugby, and now in America they call football this type of football, American football. In Canada, football is Canadian football, which is similar to American football, but it's a slightly bigger pitch. They have one extra player, and that's what football is in Canada. In Ireland, football is Gaelic football, which is a really exciting sport, similar to rugby, similar to basketball. It has elements of rugby, basketball, football, all in it. In Australia, football, well, it can be rugby. It depends what state you are living in. So it can be rugby union or rugby league. It depends what state. Similar in South Africa, football is usually rugby. And they call rugby players footballers. Also in Australia, there is a really exciting sport called Australian rules football, which again has elements of rugby and football mixed together, and that is abbreviated by Australians sometimes as footy. Also in the UK, footy is the slang name for football. In Italy, they call it calcio or calcio, I think, and that translates to kick. And this is similar in Malaysia and Indonesia. I speak Malay as well, so sepak bola is the name for football in those countries. Sepak means kick, bola means ball, which is similar to the Portuguese, so it's like kickball. Also in Malaysia, they have a really good sport called sepak takraw, I think. I don't know if that's the right pronunciation, but it's like football volleyball. It's really good. Last thing, in America, they sometimes say, let's play ball. And this refers to baseball. But I know in Portuguese, maybe they say bola, and bola means football. So if you say, let's play bola, it means football. In Italy too, they might say, let's play pallone, I think, which means ball. And that means let's play football. Okay, what do you call the game? Do you call it soccer or football? Or maybe you call it something different. Do you have any slang terms in your country or any abbreviated ways to say the game? I don't care, really. I know I'm British and British people like to say, oh, it's football. But I've lived in Japan for 3 years. I speak Japanese a little bit now, and they called it soccer. I lived in Australia for 2 years. I've spent about 6 months in America, and both of those countries use the word soccer. It's not a big deal for me. TV programs in the UK use the word soccer. There is Soccer AM, Soccer Saturday, and for my channel I use the word footy. So footy is a slang name, but there is a debate about the spelling of footy. Is it F-O-T-T-I-E or with a Y? But for me, I think it looks better with a Y, and I just think it sounds better, footy talk, not soccer talk or football talk. So I chose footy talk. I also lived in Indonesia for 2 years, and they use the word sepak bola, and I can speak Indonesian, Malay, and yeah, I don't care. We love the game. I love football, soccer, whatever you want to call it. Thank you for watching. See you in the next video.